Hello, welcome to another edition of Pilates Matwork. So today we're not going to use a whole lot of props. We will start in the beginning, as you can see with my band here, and more towards the end with double leg kicks using a band. Now I've got a band. That doesn't mean you have to have one. You can do the same thing with the strap, with the belt, dog leash, whatever it is you have. It'll all serve the same purpose. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. So just for easy access here, I've got mine just around the back part of the neck. And I'm just kind of moving back and forth here. So I'm about parallel hip width apart. So hips, knees, and toes are facing forward. I'm just getting a feel here, all four corners of the feet. And then maybe just moving a little bit more forward and back here. Good. So let's go into a little bit of movement, a little bit of prep work. So even though we're getting ready to move, think about zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel so belly button stays in. And as much as you can on your inhale, see if you can expand that rib cage. Good. I like to exhale out the mouth here for Pilates. Good. So from here, all we're going to do is we're just going to do a few little squats, and these won't be deep squats because your heel is going to be grounded here. Okay, so we're just doing a little bit of warming. Good, and I'm breathing as I move. So I'm really pressing the heels down into my mat when I come back up. Good, and then from here, let's go into a little bit of footwork. So I'm just going to keep this hip width apart. And now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift up from the heels and come down. If you're someone that needs more stability here, remember you can always kind of hold on to a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture, but I'm just going to lift. Try to lift straight up. Try not to do hinge forwardy stuff. So use that support if you need it. And as you lift, could you think about a little bit more even pressure in both the big toe and the pinky toe mound? And if you're able to get that, can you notice that difference? It should feel just a little bit more stable, but it might also feel a little bit more challenging. Not just in the exercise, but just an extra engagement that maybe you're not used to having. Good. Now from here, let's take our feet out to the side. So we're going to be in the Pilates V. So I'm zipping my heels together. I'm zipping my inner thighs together. If you can't quite make this work, it's okay to come out a little bit wider. Be where you can get a good form. So I've got about a fist width apart between my two big toes here. I'm nice and zipped. I'm drawing up and in. And from here, I'm going to try to keep the heels connected as I lift and lower. And some days I'm not as good about that as others. And you might have to do this a few times before that connection happens, and that's okay. So we're just warming up. So I feel this right here. Good. This is a balance challenge. Good. Now we're going to add plies to that. So turning back forward. We're going to lift the heels, lower the heels, little plie squat, keeping the heels grounded to the floor. And we'll zip up, and we'll lift, and we'll lower, and plie, and zip up, and lift, and lower, and plie, and zip up, and lift, and lower, and plie. Just take a few little plies. Good. Take this out wider now. Hips, knees, and toes are still on an external rotation. And find a larger squat. If you want it, you can come even larger in your squat. Good. We're just still warming up here. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, just take that and hold for a moment. Can we do a little bit of a tuck in the tail? And press through those heels and coming up. Good. I'm going to heel toe, everything back in. And I'm just going to march this out. I'm going to take my band now. So from here, Take a little bit of a wider grip, thread it between the pointer and the thumb. And then from here, I'm just going to come back a little bit here just so I have a little bit more space. And we're going to take it up. And we're going to take it a little bit behind the head. When you do that, try not to let the chest pop forward. So here's where you should be. You don't want to be out here, and you don't want to be here. So think about that nice, tall connection. Zipping up from the pubic bone and behind the navel will help you. And I'm just going to take this forward and back. Moving with my breath. Good. Now, this is a little bit easier for you, those of you that have a stretchy band versus don't, but the same thing still applies. So we're going to start to come all the way back to the top of the hips. If this is kind of what you look like and you're bending the elbows to come back there, take a wider grip. You want to be nice and long, okay? So find yours, take a wider width of the legs if you need that support, and we'll take it up. Take it to your limit. And you might not look like me, and that is perfectly okay. Good. And we'll take it back and take it forward. So now we're going to take it back and we're going to hold. And you're going to find your sweet spot and hold it there. And that might not be the top of the hips here. Okay, and for me, even though I can get mine all the way back there, that's actually not my sweet spot. So I'm going to come up. So maybe about right here is my sweet spot. This is where I have to really pay attention because this is where my shoulders let me know that they are there. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll take that back up. Let's go into a Pilates Vitality wheel here real quick, and then we're going to start to make our way onto our mat. So feet about hip width apart, maybe slightly wider. Good. I'm going to lift that big inhale, exhale. I'm going to rotate to my left. I'm going to reach as I bend my knees, reaching towards the left. I'm going to move towards center. I'm going to roll up towards my right and coming all the way back up. And then I'm going to reverse that direction. Good, and then coming all the way up. Good, and taking it down. And coming all the way back up. Last time through, we're going to end on the left side where we started. Good, and then coming all the way up and taking that down. Have your band kind of to the side where you can access it later if you need that. So I'm just going to leave that right here. We're going to come to the edge of the mat. So let's take the feet about hip width apart on this first one. I'm zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. And we're just going to do this in ragdoll style today. So as I zip up and my knees are soft, I'm going to nod my chin. I'm going to think about peeling down one vertebrae at a time. So really get that C-curve scoop. Again, try to avoid the deep hip hinge of the back. Put a bend in the knees if you need that. Good, and then I'm going to come to my personal limit. For some of us, that may or may not be the floor. And then I'm going to get into all four corners of the feet. Think about a downward push from hip into the feet as you start from the tailbone and get that articulation, that one vertebrae at a time stack as you come all the way up. Shoulders, chin, head last to come up. Good. Big inhale. Exhale, continuing to add on, round, round, round. Good, and as you come all the way down, we're gonna walk this out to our plank pose. You can be up high, or you can take your knees down. Be where you're stable, root through the knuckles and pinky, pointer, and thumb. Really take that heart up into the chest. Good, find a little bit of length. And then when you're ready, inhale, exhale. I took my knees down. I'm going to lift my knees. Let's bend our knees on this one. Everybody will do that as you walk it back. Good. Once the heels are grounded, think about where your hips are in reference to your ankles. Good. And then from here, find that downward pressure, starting from the tailbone. And we'll ragdoll it all the way back up to standing. Good. We're going to do one more of those, and I'll give you an extra challenging add-on this time. So big inhale, exhale, nodding the chin, really scooping in that belly. Good. Little bend in the knees if you need to. This is a little bit of a balance challenge as well. I'm going to walk this out to the plank. Knees are lifted or grounded. I'm going to ground. We're going to do one push-up. Elbows can come to the side or straight back. You choose, halfway down and press. Good. I'm lifting into my high plank now. So we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet. You're going to choose. Bending the knees as you do that is going to be easier. Hinging from the hips is going to be harder. So choose where you want to be here as you walk back. You'll stop the hips over the ankles if you can. A little bend in the knees if you need to. Press into those feet and legs, starting from the tailbone. We're going to roll it all the way up. And we'll press up. Good. Let's take the arms up overhead. Let's reach, reach, reach. Last time, we're going to roll down, and we're going to come to all fours. So from here, big inhale. Exhale, zipping it up, rolling it down. Good. Be mindful of your form. What fires up in the body as you move? And when you're ready, we'll walk that back forward. Good. And we'll take our knees down. Good. So now we're in a nice all four stance here. Let's come to a couple cat-cows here while we're here. So I'm spreading my fingers nice and wide. I'm rooting through knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. Shoulders are over, slightly behind the wrist. My elbows are turning inward slightly. Knees are under or slightly behind the hips. I've got the tops of my feet down. Big inhale, shine that heart forward, tip that pelvis back, nice cow. Exhale and see you curving around, nice cow. And inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. Find a real quick child's pose here. Knees can be as wide as the mat, together or somewhere in between, taking your arms long in front of you. Breathe and extend, or expand rather. You're extending arms forward, you're extending the spine, we're expanding the ribcage. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up. Good. I'm just going to cross at my ankles and come forward here. We're going to use this as an opportunity to practice a roll down transition as we come back to the mat and preparing for some deeper work. So from here, get nice and situated. Legs can be long or you can have them bent here. I'm going to take my arms long in front of me. I'm still zipped up from pubic bone to behind the navel. And I'm just going to C-curve, really scooping, taking it back. So remember, if you have inflexibilities in the spine, weaknesses in the abs, there's mine right there, you're going to go down a little bit faster in those parts. So be mindful. Once you come down there, just put a bend in the knees. Good. I'm just going to roll my shoulders back here. I'm just going to go ahead and take this ponytail out so it doesn't bother me for the rest of the class. Good. So from here, we're just going to go right into some bridging. Hips, knees, and toes are going to track here. Rock it back. Peel it up. Lift, lift, lift. And then starting from the mid-back, think about growing a little bit longer from crown to tail as you lower down one vertebrae at a time. Good. And we'll go again, and we'll rock it back. And we'll peel it up. Your body will let you know when you shouldn't come up any higher. Be mindful. Can you stay even in the pelvis? And lower down through center, growing longer. One more like that, and we're going to change it up. Taking it back, peeling it up. Good. And then from here, we're just going to lower, lower, lower. If you are someone that needs a real quick break, taking knees into the chest here for a moment, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, feet can be right on the floor. So now we're going to draw up and in. We're going to come up into our bridge pose. So rocking the pelvis back, peeling up one vertebrae at a time. Try to find as much stability as possible in both the front side and the back side of your body. And we're going to go into that marching again. So we're going to lift and lift. And it doesn't matter what side you start on. We're doing the same thing on both sides. Good. So here's set 3, 4, 5. Keep the lift low, or maybe you're taking it up a little bit higher. And I think this is 3, 4, 5. Woo! Can you lift? Can you take the right leg long and lift and lower it down? And sweep the left leg and lower. And sweep. And sweep. If this is not for you, go back to the basic march. Good. Stay with the breath. Stay with the core. One more time through. Kind of a nice little rhythm there. Good. Press into the feet. Lift, lift, lift. Maybe catch your breath a little bit. And lower that down one vertebrae at a time. They're reaching long. We'll all take the knees into the chest here and rock, rock side to side. Good. And maybe you want to take the hands to the knees and just make some little circles here. Just massaging that low spine. Good. Okay. Taking those feet down, we're going to work on some chest lifts here. Good. We're going to do this one a little bit differently today. I'm going to give 2 options. So beginners, you're going to do your chest lifts with your feet grounded, or those of you that just want that modification. Those of you that want a little bit more challenge with me today, take your legs in the tabletop position. Knees are over hips, shins are parallel to the floor. Find your safe neutral. So remember, safe neutral is when tailbone is anchored, lower rib cage is anchored, and pubic bone and your hip bones are in that same plane as best as you can. I'm going to take my arms up overhead, drawing up from that pubic bone behind the navel. Big inhale, exhale, nodding the chin. I'm going to lift, and I'm going to reach long and low. My gaze is at my thighs, and I'm going to lift the arms up, inhale, and exhale, take it down. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, reach it up. Lower, lower, lower. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Take your knees into the chest. Good. Going into hundreds here. Again, beginners, you can keep those feet grounded. Everyone else, you're going to follow me. We're going to do some different things here through our hundreds. And hopefully I won't lose track or lose count. But we're going to start in tabletop. Then we might come up here. Then we might come up here. Might come back in again. Might take one leg long, one leg low, that sort of thing. So be mindful of that. So beginners, you can just keep the feet grounded or stay in tabletop. Inhale, take those arms up, zip up nice and tight. Exhale, nodding the chin. And we're going to reach and we're going to lower long and strong from shoulders to fingertips. And we inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Diagonal 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Left leg lifts 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Tabletop 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Diagonal 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Tabletop 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, hold. Lift higher, reach deeper. Exhale, take hands to knees, the thighs, and come back down. And we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Gently take head and neck from side to side. Good. I'm already building some heat here now. I hope that you are too. Good. So from here, while we are supine, let's go ahead and get into the legs a little bit before we come up and do some more seated stuff. So I'm just going to put a little bend in that left knee. You can also extend that leg nice and long if that feels okay to you. I'm going to take my foot up, and while it's up here, I'm going to go a little bit back to that footwork. So I'm just going to point and flex. Remember, we don't want to point the foot so severely, though, that we get a foot cramp. Good. And let's circle that ankle in one direction. And then the other. Good. So from here, we're going to come into our stretch first. So take your hands behind that leg. Travel up as high as they can go. You can keep a point on the foot, or if you want something a little bit deeper in that stretch, flex the foot, taking toes towards the face. Stay with the breath. Breathe and expand. We're still zipping up from the pubic bone to behind the navel. So if you're not sure what I mean by that, the safety I often go to is taking belly button into the spine. But if you're like, but I really want to know what that feels like, think about it's a drawing up and in from your sexual organs all the way up into that belly button region. So it's kind of like another way to think about it. You're drawing up and in like you're trying to stop yourself from going to the bathroom. It's that kind of engagement. Good. And then from here, we'll release that leg, taking it out. We're going to keep tight, small circles today. So really watch your core. Hips do not leave your mat. Rolling your shoulders back. Find your supports. We're going to take that around and crossing the midline of the body. And here's 2, 3, feel the abs, 4, 5, 6, take a break or go for 7, 8, 9, and 10, and reverse. And here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here, bring in that knee. You can hold the shin or behind the thigh. Just give it a little stretchy. We're going to go right into the other side. So now you can keep a bend in the right leg or extend that leg long. Take the left leg up. And while it's up here, just get that nice point and flex again. I'm going to circle that ankle in one direction and then in the other. Good. So I just had a really good pop happen there. If I'd heard that in a class, I probably would have thought somebody would have really hurt themselves, but that's okay. It's no pain. Actually feels better after that pop. So from here, take the hands behind that leg. Let them travel up as high as they can go. So remember, you can keep the point in the foot, or you can take your toes towards the face. Breathe and expand. Good. Now practice that zipping up from the pubic bone behind the navel if you want to, or belly button into the spine. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll carefully release. Coming back to center, there's those tiny circles. We're going to try 10 in each direction. If that's not your number, do what you can. Don't worry about the rest. Tight in the core. Hips don't leave your mat. So whenever you're ready, doesn't matter the direction you start with. And then here's 1, 2, think about a dinner plate size circle. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, pause, reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And just bring that in for a moment. Good. From here, when you're ready, let's go right into series of 5 today. So knees are going to come into a tabletop position. Good. Arms are going to come up. We're going to start with a single leg stretch. Big inhale. Exhale, nod the chin. Coming up, left hand to right knee, right hand to right ankle. Left leg's going to come long in a hover. I'm going to inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Here's 3, 4, 5. Hips don't leave the mat. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to bring that down. Short pause. Legs come up to the ceiling. Single straight leg stretch. Inhale. Exhale, coming up. Right leg's going to come into the hover. I'm going to grab right behind that left shin. And I pulse only the left leg or the leg that you're grabbing. Pulse, pulse, switch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stay here, beginners, or more advanced. Here's 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring it in just for a moment. Whew. We're going to leave it right here. Double leg stretch. Inhale, knees in. Exhale, C curve. Inhale, arms and legs come long. Watch that neutral spine. Exhale, come back in. There's 1, 2. Inhale. 3, 4, 5, 6. Nod that chin. 7, 8. Take a break if you need one. 9, and 10. And lower it down. Short little break. Legs are going to come up. Double straight leg stretch. You can sit on your hands. You can take your arms long. Upper body can be lowered. That will be easier. You can do this whole one in a C curve. You will choose. Remember, stay in neutral as the legs lift and lower. Take a break if you need them. From here, I'm going to inhale. Exhale, I'm going to nod my chin and taking my legs down. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 4, 5. With a smile. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bring it in, bring it down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. So coming into the crisscross here, I'm going to show you this one from a different perspective today. So, well, let me start here. So think about your legs are doing the same thing that they do in single leg stretch. Okay. So this is your leg motion. Upper body's going into rotation. So hands are behind the head. Head presses into the hands, not hands into the head here. And you're leading with the opposite shoulder and the rib cage. So it'll go like this. So as that knee comes in, I'm rotating over. And then I'm rotating. We don't really want to get into this habit because this is cheating and you're not getting the good rotation that is the purpose of this exercise. So you want to think your obliques. Think about your waistline. Okay. So I will come back over here. That's the hardest one, I think, to master and the hardest habit to break. So from here, whenever you're ready, drawing up and in, I'm going to take my left shoulder to my right knee, and I'm going to switch. Hips stay grounded. Here's 2. And 3. Don't forget to breathe. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Take that down. We're going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let's get a little stretchy here before we make our way up to seated. Take your arms out to the side, knees back in that tabletop position. Drop those knees to one side. Maybe look over to the opposite side. Breathe and expand that rib cage. And when you're ready, good. If you're newer or have some back issues, you can take one leg at a time back to center, or you can use your abs to take both legs back at a time. So be mindful of your body and what you need to do. And whenever you're ready, from center, we'll take that to the other side. Maybe looking at that other arm. Good. And then when you're ready, head's going to come back to center. One leg at a time or both together. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. We're just going to roll over to your back side, pick yourself up, and come to a seat. Good. So from here, we're going to start from up here. We're going to work on, like we almost always do, the roll downs and the roll ups here. So going through all of the options. Now, if you're more advanced, you know what you're doing, you can go ahead and start these. But for the benefit of those who don't or need a reminder, remember option 1, these can be bent. You can hold on here, starting tall spine, your C curve, you're scooping in, and then you're coming all the way back up. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2, you can release, and you can do this the same way with bent knees or long legs. You're just going to come back to your limit, and then you're going to reach and come all the way up. And if you're taking your legs long, add that little fold in there. And then from your fold, some of you are going to practice rolling all the way down. Good. And then taking it back. Some of you are going to stop here, roll to your side, come back up to your seat, and practice roll down only. Those of you that want to practice the full roll up here, once again, we'll see if I can do it today. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, nodding the chin. I'm still favoring that left side. My legs are still coming up. But you know what? Like I always say, you can't get better without practice. And considering that I couldn't even do that a year ago, I'm going to take that as a win. So more practice required for me. So like I said, I came up towards my left. Ideally, you want to come up through center. And as you become more flexible and stronger, your legs stay grounded as well. So feel free to practice a few of those if you have not already. I'm going to go back to my modification here. Good. And I like to say maybe 5 to 6 of these total. If you're stronger and more experienced, maybe 8. But if you're working in good form, then you really don't need a whole bunch in your set. Good. And when you've completed your last one, that's the last one for me. I'm just going to fold forward. Good. Okay. Spine stretch forward. We're going to do this one a little bit differently today. So a lot of times we take the heels as wide as your mat. We're going to come into a little bit more of a diamond shape. So I'll kind of show that to you from this angle here. So I'm taking the soles of my feet together, and I'm kind of thinking about somewhat like a baseball diamond. So you don't want your heels to be too close into the groin. And this is where we're going to work on some flexion and some extension. So you're going to feel this one in different places because you're in the diamond. Okay, so just a little fun. Never hurts to do something a little bit different. Try something different. Variety is the spice of life, they say. Good. So from here, sitting up nice and tall, arms are going to come forward. Everything else about this exercise is exactly the same. Drawing up and in. Think about you're peeling yourself off of a wall, one vertebra at a time. Or maybe you're that anchor and tug of war and that rope is around your waist and you're folding over. You're just going to go to your limit. And then you're going to round all the way back up. We're going to do that one more time, and then we're going to add on some extension. Big inhale, exhale, round. Good. And coming all the way back up. Good. This time, when we round, we are going to take a pause. Good. Now, reach through and extend. Notice if you feel anything a little bit differently in the hips here. And then from this extension, We're going to round and come all the way up. And big inhale and exhale, and we'll nod. And we'll scoop in as we round forward. And then we're going to reach and extend, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then rounding and come all the way back up. Good job. From here, when you're ready, I'm going to let you do what you want to do with your legs here for a moment. You can keep this in the diamond. You can take your legs long. You can do it the traditional way, about mat width apart. You can be in crisscross applesauce here if that's what feels better to you in this moment. And for me, that's what feels best for me. So that's where I'm going to sit. So let's take hands behind the head. Good, pressing the head into the hands. Elbows are out wide, but not necessarily at their absolute widest, and my belly button is in. And I'm going to just twist to one side and twist to the other. And twist and twist. Then long spine, and you're breathing. Good. Good. Now from here, I'm going to give you two options. Beginners, you're going to need a little bit more support. So maybe you take a hand down with your side bend, lateral stretch, but you still want to think about that low rib cage and the top of that hip bone squeezing together. Those of you that don't need quite that much support, and you can without a lot of effort keeping both hips grounded, you can keep your hands behind your hip, behind your head, not behind your hips. And then from here, just get that side bend and come up and side bend. And everybody, regardless of what version you're doing, can you squeeze that low rib cage and the top of that hip bone together? Really engage there. One more time each side. Good. Coming back up and release. We're going to go into that saw motion now. So I'm going to take my legs, mat width apart. I'm going to readjust my hips here. I'm going to come into an anterior tilt. So tailbone comes behind, hip bones come forward. I'm going to take my arms out to the side. I'm zipped up from pubic bone to behind the navel. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to round and reach and articulate back up to center and rotate and round and reach. And coming back up to center and rotate and round and reach. And come back up to center. Remember, hips stay grounded and rotate and round and reach. And come back to center. Woo! Shake it, shake it, shake it. All right. Let's bring our legs in. We're going to cross our ankles. We're going to come back forward. Have your trusty strap or band, whatever you're using here, a little bit more in front of you, whatever direction your head's going to go here. And I'm going to come forward. Good. And I'm just going to come right onto my belly. Good. So from here, let's just kind of get just a little bit warm. So we'll come to some baby swans. I'm going to take my hands forward of my shoulders and a little bit to the side. I'm going to relax my elbows down. Now remember, this is the baby swan. So our goal here is not to come up to our highest level. We're just warming up. So lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through the low body. Belly button in, pubic bone is into the mat. Roll those shoulders back. And then maybe we just lift a little bit here. Good. And we lower. Good. And two. Lengthen and lift, and lower. Feel the triceps engaged here, the back of the arms. Lengthen, here's three. Belly button is in, shoulders are engaged. Okay. And reach and lengthen. And lower. Last one. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Come up and pause for a moment. Feel that engagement. No hanging in the low spine, no crunching in low spine. And we'll lower. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. Okay, single leg kicks. Let's come to more of a Sphinx pose position here. So I'm going to come onto my not my shoulders, my forearms. These are my forearms. Good. So there's a couple things you can do. Some people like to take the hands flat down and keep everything in this alignment. Some people like to clasp together here. I don't see why either one would be incorrect. So you'd be where you're comfortable, but roll your shoulders back. You want to press into the elbows and the forearms. I'm lengthening my lower body here. Good. And I'm just going to start, excuse me. I'm going to flex my heel as I come up. And when I come up, remember, you want to engage the hamstring and the glute. Otherwise, this is just mindless movement, and that doesn't do anything for you. And then we're going to take that down. And other side. And we're going to flex and come up and come down. Watch the upper body as well. You're in the extension here, so keep that core engaged. Good. Other side. Now we're going to pick this up. So now I'm going to flex, point, take it down. Flex, point, take it down. Flex, point, take it down. Squeeze those glutes, engage them. Flex, point, take it down. Flex, point, take it down. Last one, last side. Flex, point, take that down. Take it all the way down. Make a recovery pillow with your hands. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Now, if you've been in a lot of extension and your back's like, oh, I really need some flexion right now, take your hands under your shoulders and press back into that child's pose and maybe round that spine just a little bit here. Okay, so take a few moments to do that if that's what you need. Otherwise, we're going to prepare for double leg kick now. So some of you won't need this extra help here if you are able to bind your hands behind you and comfortably bind your hands together. So from this position, I am not able to do that. So I'm going to take my band. Now this can also be done with a hand towel, belt, you know, anything like that will work. I've just kind of folded my band in half just so it's not as bulky. And I'm just going to take this around the low part of my back. Good. And I'm just going to work those hands. My hands are facing the ceiling here, as close as I can get them together. Good. Now, from here, I'm going to start bending my knees. I'm zipping up from pubic bone to behind the navel. I'm still lengthening through that low body just a little bit here. And I'm rolling my shoulders back. Big inhale. Exhale. I'm going to press, lift, and extend. And then I'm going to take that back down. The head goes in one direction. Big inhale. Exhale. Press up. Feel that extension and shoulder work. And take it down. Head goes opposite side. And we'll lift and extend and reach. And take it down. One more time. Lift, extend, and reach. Maybe we can hold it here for a moment. And take that down. Good. Release. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Everybody's going to come back through a child's pose here. And we'll round, round, round. Good. From here, and there's no rush. I'm going to move forward. Good. I'm going to come to my side. So different options for different people, different levels. Some of you more advanced people, there's actually different ways you can do it. Some people, you can be right up here and do this. This is going to be a different perspective, but you want this to be supported. You don't want to be here, and you don't want to hang in your rib cage either. So you want to be lifted and lifted. Same thing, you can come on the forearm here, lifted in the shoulder, lifted in the rib cage. Or for me, so I've got a cranky shoulder this morning on the side. This is my injury side. So I'm going to come and lie down on this side. So you choose where you want to be. Good. Let's all today just kind of get a feel for a nice long spine. So think about length from ear, shoulder, hip, ankle. And then once you're there, this front hand's going to come forward to support me. I'm going to bend that bottom leg. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, I'm lifting my top leg about hip height. I'm going to let you choose. You can have a point or flex in the foot. I'm going to do flex today. I haven't done that one in a while. And then you're going to lift and lower and squeeze. And 3, and extend when you take it long. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We'll bend that knee, give it a little bit of a break. Maybe it needs a little pad out. Good. So we're going to bend and stretch here, but we're going to put a little spin on that space. So as you bend this knee, and again, we're kind of in that hip height direction here. I'm going to internally rotate it. So I'm taking that knee down. Good. So now I'm going to kind of drive upwards now through that heel and that glute as I take my knee down towards that face and angle. And here's 2 and 3, and we usually feel these pretty quick, and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, whew, and 9 and 10. Take that in, take that down, pat, 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 something out. Good. Silly earpieces. Okay, so from here, when you're ready, take this leg long. We're going to go internal, external rotation. So heel forward, toe to the back. So heel taps forward, toe to the back. And heel and toe. And heel and toe. Watch the pelvis. We're stable here. We're tight in the core. Heel, toe, heel, toe. One more time. Heel, toe. Whew. Bend that knee in. Pat something out. I'm going to take that foot down. I'm going to extend my bottom leg nice and long. And we're going to do 10 pulses here. So really engage that inner thigh. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, relax. Carefully press yourself up. We're going to leave that leg right here. And when you come up, give it a nice big hug in, finding that stretch in that hip. We're going to stretch this a little bit deeper here before we go to the other side. So from here, I'm just going to leave this ankle right where it is. I'm going to take hands behind me, and I'm just going to let that other leg kind of slide up. So it's a different way to do a figure 4. But right now it feels that hurts so good. Stretch. Good, and when you're ready, you can carefully undo out of there, and we're going to take that right to the other side. Good. So again, know your options. So you can be up as long as you're lifted in shoulder, lifting the rib cage. You can be on the forearm, lifted in shoulder, lifted in the rib cage, or you can follow me. I'm just going to do the same thing on both sides. So I'm balanced on both sides. Good. And so then from here, find some length, ears, shoulders, hips, ankles, bending that bottom leg. Your top leg is going to be about hip height. I did flexion on the other side. I'm going to do flexion on this side. And then whenever we're ready, we're going to lift 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. You can kind of bend that in, pat that out. Good. So here's that harder one now. We're going to lift. We're bending the knee. We're taking that knee in towards the mat. Good. Heel is coming more towards the ceiling. And we're going to press and drive. There's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Belly button is still in here. And 6 and 7 and 8. If you're on the shoulders, lift the shoulder, lift through the rib cage. And I think that was 10. Whew. I'm going to take that in. I'm going to pat that out again. Good. Going into that internal, external rotation. Heel forward, toe to the back. Here we go. Heel forward, knees and toes turns towards the ceiling. And tap to the toe. And heel front and toe to the back. And watch your core here and your hips. They should not be flopping around. And heel and toe. And heel and toe. And heel and toe. And heel and toe. And one more. And heel and toe. Whew. Put a bend in that knee. So can open up a little bit, extend that bottom leg long. Good. So really engage that bottom inner thigh. Here comes those 10 little pulses. And here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Leave this leg right where it is. Carefully come up from here. Whew. And give it a nice big hug in. Good. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to do that little figure 4 variation. So I'm just going to leave this ankle right here. I'm just going to leave it right up above the knee, hands behind, and I'm going to just pull that leg in. Whew. And feel that nice hurt so good stretch on the side. And just breathe through it. Find that expansion in the rib cage if you can. Good. And then from here, whenever you're ready, you can carefully come out of there. Good. And we're going to come on all fours here. So we're going to make our way into some push-ups and a couple planking variations before we end where we started in standing. And we're going to go back into some scapular mobility exercises here. So I'm going to come forward. Good. So just like we did in the beginning with the cat-cow when we were on all fours, spread the fingers nice and wide. Root through the knuckles of the pinky, the pointer, and thumb. Elbows going to turn in slightly here. Good. Knees can be under, slightly behind the hips. So what we're going to do is I'm going to press the mat away, and then I'm going to let my chest fall to the floor, and then I'm going to press away. So think about the ears coming towards the shoulders here, one of the few times when I allow that, and then press away. Good. And lower, and press, and lower, and press. So this is where you are if you're a beginner. You want a little bit more challenge here. You can do this on the forearms. And lower, and lift, lower, lift, ultimate challenge. Maybe you do this in a forearm plank with knees lifted or lower. A lot harder. Good. And then from here, wherever you went, find a child's pose. Best way for you. Good. And then from here, we're going to come back up. So going into a plank pose, we'll give their push-ups a little bit of break here between these. So as we come forward, knees can be grounded or lifted. So I'm going to come forward here. Good. So here's your grounded knee, thinking about a long line from shoulder to knee. You can bend, you can let them come long here, you choose, or you can be lifted. I'm going to take my feet a little bit wider than hip width apart here for just a little bit more stability. And from here, we've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. From here, when you're ready, I'm going to lift the knees if you had them grounded. Right leg lifts and lowers, and left, and right, and left, and right, and left, and right, and left. Some of you are going to take a break. Some of you are going to keep going. And we tap, and tap, and tap, and tap. Legs wider for more stability if you need it, and tap, and tap. Front and back side working, front. Whew. And take that down. And child's pose, maybe cupcake the fingertips. Whew. Build up a little glow on that one. And when you're ready, we're going to prepare for our push-ups. So option 1, you can do these totally on all fours. And I'm going to give you options for tricep push-ups and more chesty push-ups. So tricep push-ups, elbows just come straight back like this. Wristy push-up, or that, well, it's all wristy, but chest push-ups, I like to come into a little bit of an anterior or interior mode, kind of coming to more like this. So then I am a little bit more stable when I take my elbows out to the side. Some people don't like that. Some people like to be right here and take it out a little bit. It's fine, do what works for you. We're only going to try for 5 today. So beginners, you can be on all fours. You choose triceps or chest. Others can come back onto the knees, or you can be lifted. Choose yours. I'm actually going to do all fours today. So from here, when you're ready, try not to collapse through the shoulders. Draw up from pubic bone behind the navel. Press that floor away wherever you're going. And then from here, tricep or chest. Take it down halfway and press 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lower the knees, child's pose. Good job. When you're ready, before we make our way to the top, let's take a moment here. So I'm just sitting back on my heels, and you can totally be on your glutes here if you need to. We're just going to stretch these arms out before we transition into standing. So just take your arms out to the side, and then maybe just get some nice rotation here. Good. Good. Let's take the palms up. Reach, reach, reach. Take the arms forward. Left arm is going to swing underneath the right, right underneath that forearm, taking forward. Now, some people need to kind of move forward and back a little bit here, up and down, rather, to find your sweet spot. So don't be afraid to do that. Good. Taking that back forward, arms out. We'll take it back forward, swing underneath, find the other side. Feels so good. And then when you're ready, we'll take that back forward, out to the side, all the way up. Take the palms together, bend the elbows squeeze into the ears, tricep stretch. And then when you're ready, taking that up. Good. We're going to come to all fours. We're going to make our way to a downward facing dog here. So planting the hands, I'm going to tuck the toes, I'm going to lift, and I'm going to shift, and I'm going to put a little bend in the knees here as I shift. Pressing evenly into the big toe and pinky toe mounds. You can lengthen just a little bit here, finding that final little back body stretch. Careful if you're still tight in the low back or the hamstrings. Keep some softness in the knees. Good, and then from here, maybe with a bend in the knees, we're going to walk those hands back towards the feet. Good. Get into all four corners of the feet. And for a moment, maybe grab opposite elbows here. Just find a little bit more traction. Good. And then from here, coming out of this with that ragdoll roll up. So that downward pressure into the legs and the feet, from the hips into the feet, starting from the tailbone. Round, round, round. Belly button is coming in. Good. Shoulders, chin, and head are last to come up. Let's inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, take it down, press through your feet, come all the way up overhead. And exhale, grow taller from crown to tail as you lower those arms. And we are all done. Thank you so much for joining me today with this Pilates Matwork class. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.